Well, all right, kiddos, it's time to sharpen up those edges and grease up your chains. We are going to live it up with mountain life. Dropping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I remember it like it was 30 years ago or so. I recall being on the lift with my buddies, laughing and yelling. It was a grade 8 ski trip. I can't visualize who was on the chair, but there was definitely denim. It was midweek and barely anyone was on the hill. For a group of preteens, this was the height of fun. Halfway up the chairlift, we spotted the best jump on the hill. The groomer had created a perfect little lip right under the chair. It wasn't much, but we didn't meet much. Of course, you'll only know this if you were around 30 years ago, and anyone younger will find this impossible to believe. But in those days, you weren't allowed to jump. In fact, they'd punch your ticket if they caught you. I'll repeat that. You were not allowed to jump. Imagine that. We knew the rules, but finding that jump was like being told not to eat the marshmallows on our hot chocolate. The temptation was too much to resist. So we hit it a couple of times, getting a little more confident with each subsequent hit. We were maxing out at about 12 inches of height and 4 feet of distance, but it felt amazing, and we couldn't get enough. On my 4th or 5th hit, I landed too far forward and slid to the ground. I felt my ski pop off. With the ski dangling from its leash, I fumbled wildly trying to get back in. I looked around for a friend to help, but they were all gone. The only person approaching was a ski patroller. He was offering his assistance, but only after punching my ticket. He helped get my ski on and escorted me to the chalet. I could hear my friend's taunts from the chair above. It was the most humiliating moment of my then short life. I spent the rest of the day in the chalet with my home ec teacher, Mrs. McClure. It stung knowing my buddies were ripping around the hill having the time of their lives. I nearly regretted jumping. As a kid, stuck in that chalet with a chaperone 3 times my age, there was no rhyme nor reason to the rule that put me there. It was a total injustice. It's difficult to believe that jumping was a ticket-punching kind of infraction. How do you even police that? What if you hit a mogul and accidentally catch air? What if the terrain lends itself to getting airborne over a knuckle? It's ridiculous. The only thing it taught me was that if you're going to jump your skis, don't crash and don't get caught. Thankfully, these days, you're allowed to jump your skis. They even have entire runs dedicated to getting your PTEX soaring through the air. Not only that, they allow snowboarders on the hill. Imagine. If there's something to be thankful for in the difficult snow year of 2024, it's that you're allowed to jump your skis. And when the snow cooperates, my banged up boards will be leaving the ground as often as possible this winter. Probably not much higher or farther than they did all those years ago, but that's fine. It's the feeling of leaving the earth behind, if ever so fleetingly, that I'll be chasing. Today's guest is a legendary skier who isn't really known for catching air, but I'm sure he has no issues doing so. And while he's known primarily for skiing, he's actually starting to snowboard more than ski these days. But before we drop in, here's a word from our partner, Jack Wolfskin. For almost 40 years, the Jack Wolfskin name and paw print have been a symbol of their trailblazing spirit and regard for nature. Since 1981, they have led the pack with innovative, eco-conscious technologies, a commitment to social responsibility, and forward-thinking designs. If you haven't seen the Jack Wolfskin paw print before, it's because they have only just completed their newest den here in North America. Jack Wolfskin will see you in the wild, wherever that is for you. Our guest today is legendary ski mountaineer Greg Hill. I met him a couple of weeks ago in Revelstoke. He stood out immediately on the deck of the Mackenzie Outpost. His bright blue eyes were piercing and he walked around confidently with a tripod hanging from his backpack. His Arc'teryx ski gear was dirty and worn. He obviously wasn't a idiot that decked himself out in pricey gear for a weekend of skiing. He was clearly a local. We were soon introduced, and I knew the name well. Hill became famous in the ski world in 2010 when he ski toured 2 million vertical feet in 1 calendar year. Absolutely epic. That's about 5,500 vertical feet every day for a year. That's about 1,700 meters for the metric heads out there. To put it another way, that's like climbing the CN Tower 3 times a day for 365 days straight. Nutty. Even Vanity Fair gave a shit. They interviewed him about that feat. But he got there by putting in the work. In the years since, he's committed just as much effort to environmental causes. Just because he reached his goal in 2010 doesn't mean he slowed down. He's humble, he's friendly, and he's inspiring the rest of us to be better humans. Here's my conversation with Greg Hill. Greg Hill, welcome to the Mountain Life Live It Up podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, pleasure to be here. Always fun to chat and kind of go into my life and try to figure out the reasons I did some of the things I did and see where
Yeah,
we're going.
awesome. Yeah, so how's it going today?
Yeah, it's good. My dad's 75 and he hadn't skied in 5 years, so he was nervous and had lots of excuses, but we got him out for a couple groomers just now and it was great. So
Nice.
pleasure, always a pleasure to watch him ski. He's just a graceful older man and can ski really well.
Amazing. Amazing. Cool.
He
Your
just
parents
didn't
live
want to
there?
do more than 2 runs.
That's fair. They're long
Yeah,
runs.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I cut you off there.
Uh, that's fine. So where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up south of Montreal in a town called Sutton.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely an East Coast boy and grew up. Yeah, I mean, Sutton's a small little ski town. I think we were 15 minutes from the ski resort. And yeah, I was one of those kids that they definitely liked skiing right off the bat. And all I remember in grade 3, I was like really proud of myself at the end of the year because I'd skied 60 days. So I must have like skied
Wow.
basically every day I could have, every day on the holidays and weekends. And then anytime I could skip school. So yeah, I've always just really liked sliding on snow.
Sutton's such an amazing resort.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I'm 48 now. Last time I skied there was 16. When I keep saying I should go back and experience it and just kind of relive my roots. And ideally, one of these days I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Come when there's snow.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think it matters. It'd just be fun to see where it all started and try to, remember some of the runs and who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I'm sure it's changed a lot.
Yeah, I wonder. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So, I mean, that's your skiing part of your life. You started then, but you got really into climbing, in your 20s or teens or?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough. I went to Bishop's College School. It's a private school in Lennoxville, Quebec, and they had a climbing wall there, and I definitely started climbing a bunch when I was 16 and got quite hooked. I skied a bunch, but climbing took over from 16 to 23 or something, and it's all I thought, and it's how I identified myself. I was like Greg Hill, the climber,
Yeah.
and it was great. I mean, I loved it. I loved the challenge. I loved the rewards, and it was definitely like a full passion, and still is. But I was young and dumb, and I didn't train well enough or warm up well enough, and one day I dislocated my shoulder, and that kind of really changed my life. And in a lot of ways, it was a shitty thing to happen, but it's also what kind of put me onto this ski touring backcountry trajectory I've been on. And yeah, it was a hurdle, but it was a hurdle that kind of put me on the right path, or a path that worked out well for me in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I watched some stuff on you this morning and you were living in a van, being a dirtbag climber when you separated your shoulder?
Yeah, exactly. No, I was living in parking lot number 4 in Whistler,
Okay.
living in a Volkswagen van, and I was planning to have another nice winter in Whistler anyways. I was definitely skiing again, but the weekends were for ice climbing and trying to hone that skill. So I wasn't really there to ski all the time, but it was just I was starting to, skiing's always been fun, so I was psyched to be skiing. But yeah, essentially when the shoulder popped out, I was like, wow, I've really loved the challenges and the rewards that come from climbing, because it's just one of those sports that it's really hard, but then when you succeed it feels really good. And so I sort of looked for those challenges and rewards and other things, and luckily I'd started ski touring a bit early, a bunch of years before, and a little bit the season before in Banff, and then I was like, okay, well, let's just get into this because it doesn't use my shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. And so then, I mean, I don't know, looking at everything I could find on you, you just become a pro skier. Is that what happens? How does that happen?
Yeah, no. Um, I don't know. I never ever thought about being a pro. It wasn't something that I don't know. I've never been somebody that like reads magazines and idolizes and wants to be that thing. And we did when I was living in Whistler that winter with Australians in 99, 2000. Um, Eventually I had a house. I wasn't just a van liver in the winter. But while we were there, if we had a really good day, we'd be like, "Oh, my sponsors are happy," and the sponsors are happy was like a total joke, and it was like not a reality. It wasn't anything I even imagined. But then for many years, I just initially I was trying to get fit so I could be the guy that could help you and save us if anything ever happened. Like Greg, we need you to go over 3 ridges. There's somebody in trouble, and I kind of like started kind of pushing myself just to be fit so I could be a really strong partner. But at the same time, I was tree planting a lot in the summer. That's how I'd make my money, is tree plant for 4 months, and then I'd go on employment insurance all winter because I couldn't find a job that paid me the same. The
Hmm.
EI ski team. And so that work ethic that I was developing in tree planting, you get paid per tree, you work really hard, and you kind of start off the morning at zero and you aim for some goal and you just work your butt off all day. I kind of just ended up taking that work ethic and applying it to the mountains, and it worked out really well because it's the same sort of thing. You start at 0 feet at the bottom of a mountain and you have that goal, and I just kind of was really good at obsessing over goals and focusing on that, like, next mountain or what have you, and our next run. And yeah, it was just that strong work ethic helped a lot. And then I started somehow realizing that I had more energy than people around me, and it'd be the end of a big day and everybody would be tired and I'd still just be like jazzed and excited. Um, and in retrospect, I started realizing, like, one of the things that powers me is this, like, this incredible wonder of, like, wow, the world's amazing. We're so lucky. And then also, like, I wonder what I could do next. Like, oh, I did that run. I wonder if I could do 2 more runs or 3 more runs or whatever, and just get going. Yeah, and yeah, what started to realize is that what a lot of my energy comes from this, like, wonder of the amazingness of the backcountry. It's like, oh my God, like, one, we're so lucky to be doing what we're doing, but then, like, it's like an endless potential. It's like if you dream and have the skills and pay attention, you can pretty much do anything. So, and then yeah, it's just like life's amazing. If you're living these moments, that would power me up. And then also, like, the wonder of, like, how much can I do? Like, and I started kind of fixating on achieving number goals because I had a dad that was very strict on me and was like, "What are you doing with your life? Well, why don't you be like your older brother and, go finish your university career?" I did 2 years in university at some point in there. And there was a lot of that pressure of, like, you're supposed to be doing something with your life, and I was, but it's tough to prove to somebody that you're doing much with your life if you're just skiing every day. So I started to take those kind of little goals, and they're fun for me to accomplish, but in a way, I'm sure it was based on a bit of insecurity and wanting to be like, okay, I want to prove to my dad and my brother and the rest of my family that I'm doing something of value here, and that I'm not just smoking pot and hanging out.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, so that's sort of why I started doing the goals. I think it was just like, oh wow, and let's see what I can do. And at the time, there's lots of challenges in terms of mountaintops and that sort of thing, but I quite like the numbers. And, like, my brother was a millionaire by the time he was 26, and so my joke's always been like, he makes his millions and I hike mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and he does, and I do. So
Yeah.
it's actually not even a joke; it's the reality. Um, but no, I really like the challenges. So yeah, because of tree planting, I liked goal setting. So I started to figure out what I could do in a day. And it was 10,000 feet in a day. I remember my first one was incredible. It was huge and it was really hard. And then I started to think, I'd heard about somebody around Revelstoke here. So after Whistler, I moved to Revelstoke in the year 2000.
Okay.
And once I got here, yeah, one of the guys had done 20,000 feet. So I started to think, oh, maybe that's something I could aim for, and started kind of working towards it and pushing myself. And then I can't remember the exact year, like 2003, I did 20,000 feet. And then I had a bunch of other great traverses and all sorts of amazing mountain moments. But then tree planting the next summer, I'd be like, oh, I wonder if I could do 30,000. And just all summer, I'd kind of focus on that number. And then
Yeah.
come back next winter and then kind of figure out what I needed to do that. And then did an amazing 30,000 foot day in the mountains here in
Wow.
Rogers Pass. Big skis and just kind of charging, and just like, it was just over a 15-hour day. And it was incredible.
Yeah.
What was really neat about that day is there's a mountain goat partway up, and there I would come up long haired, panting, and pass him, and then ski down and jump off something and come back up an hour later. And he was just munching the grass and looking at me. And I remember getting back after that and Googling, like, oh, what does it mean to see a mountain goat or whatever? And then it said something about, like, pushing limits and reaching new heights. And it was just kind of a really neat moment where I was like, wow, that kind of was what I was doing. And then there's that
Ah,
mountain goat. And, that's just kind of that weird wildness of the world. And yeah,
right.
it's pretty neat. So yeah, I just got really driven by that. And, like I said, at the same time, I was trying, there was a lot of undone things around Revelstoke, which was really exciting. The
Yep.
mountain, the mountains here, as you saw when you're visiting, they're endless.
Yep.
And so much that hadn't been done because the technology and the equipment wasn't there. And up to that point, there hadn't been a lot of people that were just on EI and skiing all winter.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our crew had a lot of freedom, and we were developing our skill set to become guides and mountain people. So we were using the time off productively, but we also just had, like, untapped adventures that just hadn't been done. And there was no Google Maps, there was no guidebooks, there was just just topographic maps, and
Yeah.
um, it was amazing. I obsessed over the maps. I loved to draw pencil lines and where I'd been, and eventually there used to be a wall here, and I had maps all on it, and I'd draw where I was, and I'd go out and ski, and I'd come back, and I'd relive the day and draw that pencil line back in, and it was a really neat way to kind of see where we'd been and where we could go, and yeah, it was just super exciting at that time for sure. We were super fortunate in our timing, super fortunate that we had a super solid crew too. Like everybody was really driven. You know, I became more famous than my buddies, but that's because I did these other feats. But they were like this essential teammates to me, you know, and
Yeah.
we were all so strong and so psyched, and the things we did together was just so awesome.
Mm.
Um, and at the time, also like you're young, I don't know, we're what 25 to 30 kind of zone for all these challenges, and I didn't realize it, but it's like one of my main partners, this guy Aaron Chance, who's an awesome mountain ski guide now around here. And at the time, he was like the perfect antidote to my enthusiasm because one of my strengths is being enthusiastic, like I was kind of mentioning, and but it's also a weakness. It can blind you and make you just get too excited and do things you shouldn't do. And I was
Yeah.
really fortunate that I did a lot with Aaron because he was like always making sure he's like, "Why are you sure?" And he'd be like that doubter, that questioner, and
Yeah.
his those questions kept us alive for sure. We did great things, but it's like he always made sure to like bring me back and make sure I had to like center and go, okay, this is why I think it's safe. The winds haven't been blowing, the new snow, you know, and thankfully for that, I'm sure it's one of the reasons I'm still here. Is just I got fortunate with having him as a partner and all those other partners too.
Right. Yeah. Amazing. Do you know what your record tree planting day was?
Yeah, I wasn't that high. It was like
No?
out west here. No, I talked to somebody the other day who did like 9,000. I was like, holy cow!
Whoa.
I did 3,600 once.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent years doing the same thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I never got on the EI ski team though. That was a smart move.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a bit taking advantage of the system, but in the end, not really, because we all of us just educated ourselves in mountain knowledge
Right.
and became like the all my buddies that were doing it with me then, they're all ski guides and very certified, accomplished people because they had a bit of flexibility to be able to do that
Right.
for sure.
Yeah. So what's the I mean, you were sort of setting records of day climbing,
Yeah.
how much you could climb in a day. What is your record on that?
Yeah, so I did the 30,000 foot day, and then I was like, that was big skis. And then at some point, I was like, okay, I figured out what I needed to do 40,000. I found this basin where I could set one skin track that split near the top, so that would have a bunch of different runs, so it would be exciting, different all day. And we hiked out there, camped the night before, and I had this awesome day where I did 40,000 feet. And a lot
Wow.
of it was also like a bit of a statement against the heli ski industry. You know, they're spending all this money and they just fly around and they do all this stuff. And they like at the time it was like $1,000, and they were skiing about 8,000, 9,000, or sorry, 30 to 40,000 feet. So I was like trying to prove that you could do it without it.
Right.
So the 40,000 feet was this amazing day with little skis, but fun powder. But then I knew that to kind of take it to the next level, it'd probably have to be on a resort. And there were these Marolt brothers out of Colorado that had planned this 24-hour uphill race in Colorado. So in like 2005 or 2006, I got invited down there, and really they knew that like they're like, you're going to come down and set a new record.
Yeah.
Um, and it was in a way it was almost set up for me to do. It was awesome. There was some competition for sure, and at the time it's kind of confusing. At the time we thought it was like we aimed for 50,000 feet. That was my goal. I'd been dreaming about it forever, and like I said, like a lot of these things you have to dream them forever to manifest them. They don't just happen. You got to really develop the training so you can believe in it, and then finally you can activate it. And that was an amazing day. It's like freezing cold, like minus 28 at night, like 9,000 to 10,500 foot climb, like high elevation. It wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
But I ended up at like hour 17. I was pounding up and down. And all of a sudden, this guy, Jimmy, caught up to me. And I was like, what the out of nowhere, you know, like what? And then Jimmy and I just like, we teamed up right away. We just started chatting. I was like, Jimmy, you know, we got 50,000 feet. We're on par. I'm watching my watch. We've got this. And he'd never done more than 20,000 feet, but he was keen. And the two of us just hung out for the next 6 hours and finished off that day doing 50,000 feet together in 23 and
Wow.
a half hours. And yeah, it was insane. I mean, there's no way I could do it now.
Yeah.
Um, but it was really quite a neat moment. It was really fun to share with him. And like, honestly, I've never even seen him since then.
Huh.
Um, and yeah, at the time we thought it was a world record, bunch of magazines said it was a world record. We didn't have anything for Guinness, but I think it seems like some European had done more than that.
Yeah.
And now the record just got done the other day, and like we did 50. These guys have been doing it up in Norway where they're low elevation, which is amazing. And somebody just did, I think is somewhere in the 80,000 foot range, like just like it just is ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah.
I should look that up, but it's so beyond what I did that I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's going away,
Is
But
there some sort of style in your mind as far as doing this? Do you need to be on fat skis? Do you need to ski?
no, to do anything that big, it's like small skis, no backpack, no avalanche, nothing, just snacks in your pocket.
Yeah. Okay. And so
But no,
were you a pro skier at this time, or whatever that
at
means?
that point, no, at that point I was getting some free gear from Arc'teryx, a little bit of free gear, but no, I'd never been a good businessman, so I don't think I was.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's actually true because yeah, I remember after that year, there was a couple articles on my 50,000 feet, but I remember some Jamie Pierre hucked a 230-foot cliff or something, landed on his head,
Yeah.
and he got so many more articles for that than what I'd been training for years. I was a little bit like, oh, and then, but that's the way the world is. Some things are more interesting than others. Like,
Yeah.
well, but
Some things are
yeah, I
stupider
wasn't.
than others.
Yeah, perspective's different. But yeah, I wasn't really making any money, and then I randomly got sent the wrong contract from Arc'teryx, and I looked at the contract. I was like, "Whoa, this guy's getting paid $10,000," and I was like,
Mhm.
"Wow, I've been doing all these things like first descents, ski long, first ski traverses, like pioneering ski traverses, these physical vertical challenges," and I was like, "Wow, he's getting 10 grand to pose for photos," and I was like, "Oh." And then I didn't have the gumption to ask for 10 grand, but I asked for 5 grand.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was sort of the start where I was finally starting to make a bit of money with being sponsored.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I was fortunate because I was making enough money tree planning, and I was at that point I was still doing the EI ski team, and then it allowed me to, and then I got certified as a guide, an assistant guide right around that time, so I was starting to guide a little bit. So it was kind of like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the first time I ever heard of you was when you were doing the 2 million foot.
Yeah.
That was 2010.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So one of the goals that I had for a while was like, what could I like? I know what I can do in a day. What could I do in a year? And in the year 2000, everyone was all freaking out about year two Y2K. And at the time, I remember I was hiking at Whistler or Blackcomb, and I was like, oh, like, I wonder if you could do 2 million feet in a day. And I did the math, and I was like, oh, that's 5,500 feet up every day. And I was like, oh, that's kind of seems feasible.
Yeah.
But then that was around the year 2000, and I was like, and then I realized that I didn't have the fitness, the skills, the knowledge to pull it off safely, all
Yeah.
those things. So then, yeah, basically I took like 10 years to finally like go, okay, let's try this. And during those 10 years, I did 1 million feet in like 2006 during the season, but it was like 7.5 months. So I wasn't anywhere near it. And then I spent a lot of time figuring out 10,000 foot days and just really trying to unlock being able to do 10,000 foot days. So I had one season where I did 80 10,000 foot days. I was hoping to do 100.
Wow.
So it'd be a really, really clean million,
Yeah.
but I mean, I did 80. That was a ton.
Yeah.
I haven't done one yet this year. Um, but yeah, then basically 2000, I kept thinking and then being like, oh, I should try it this year. I'd be too scared. I didn't have the money. And then I was like, oh, I'll try it next year. And I really didn't tell anybody about it because I don't like talking about things until you've done them.
Yeah.
Even my wife didn't know about it. And then sort of December 2009, I was like, okay, this is time. I got to tell my wife. And we had a nice dinner, a little tipsy. And I was like, honey, I kind of want to do this next year. And let's see if we can make it happen. And I didn't have the money lined up. I just was like, I was making a bit more money but not a lot with sponsors. And I was like, but I was like, it's time. And so, yeah, 2010, I kind of set on this goal of mine of trying to climb and ski 2 million feet. And it was the most amazing year. Like, it's like that record's been broken since then. But for me, it was such a year of adventure. Like, I'd always, adventure was the goal. It's like the vertical number was there, and I'd do these little laps here and there, and I'd go out earlier. I'd do these late laps to make things happen. But the main goal was like adventure all year.
Yeah.
And the 2 million feet was like the goal to make sure I kept getting out instead of being like, oh, maybe not today. And there's some really hard moments where you're like, why am I going out? But because it kept forcing me out there, it got me out on so many incredible days.
Yeah. And
Like,
did you did a bunch of days in South America too?
yeah, exactly. I did about 800,000 feet in South America.
Okay.
And then the other 1,200, 1.2 million around here.
That was just to extend the season. Or
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
full year. I wanted to ski as much as I could, and yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I spent a lot of time solo, especially in South America. But luckily, I like myself, so I can just
yeah,
kind of go
yeah.
on my whirlwind of thoughts all day and just keep pounding up and down mountains. And yeah, it was incredible. I climbed 77 different mountains, a bunch of them frequently, but it was just adventure after adventure, and it was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, how do you keep your family together during all that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've got a great wife, but I also at the time, I like think of Mount Begbie here. It's like our iconic mountain. And I'd get up at 4, trailhead by 5, summit by 7:30, ski down, home by 9 with 7,000 feet in the bank, and family's barely awake.
Okay,
Uh,
and you had to do 5,500 a day, basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
But obviously, I took a lot of days off. I took like 100 days off. So I think in the end, I haven't looked at these numbers in a bit, but I think in the end, I averaged like 7,400 feet a day,
Yeah.
and just had like 90 days off or something. So
Wow, that's huge, man. Did you train? Like, do you train? Are you a training kind of guy, or are you just like you just train by going up mountains?
yeah, I trained at the time. I trained by tree planting,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
still, in the falls, I always run and make sure I kind of stay on top of it because it just you have to stay fit. But yeah, I maybe did a bit of weights, but no, I just trained by doing it really.
Yeah.
But that's really neat right now. This guy Noah is trying to do 3 million feet
Okay. Yeah.
of human powered up, and he's it's really fun to watch him because he's doing what you need to do. It's much less adventure to get that number. He's got to do so many 10,000 foot days, and he's in Europe right now, and he's on skinny skis, and he's just pounding up and down stuff, and it's kind of fun to watch from the
Wow.
outside and just kind of
What's
cheer him
what's his
on.
last name? Do you know?
I think it's Dines. I could check on my phone wherever it
Okay.
is. Yeah, he in the first month of January he did 378,000 feet.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
GoFundMe page here. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
West.
it's awesome. It's fun to watch, and like 3 million feet, that would be ridiculous. He's gonna, like I say, it's not for powder, it's not for adventure, it's just for a number and just like but he's got great attitude, and
Yeah.
it's fun to watch.
Wow.
It's fun to watch and cheer him on from the sidelines.
Yeah. Cool. So then, like you're an ACMG certified guide too,
Yeah, I'm an ACMG ski guide. Yeah.
and that happened before or after or during or.
Yeah, I kind of worked up in 2009. I failed my full ski exam, and then I took some time to mature. And in 2014, passed my full ski guide exam. And yeah,
Okay.
so every winter I tend to guide about 30 days. I love guiding. It's kind of a way to share my passion for the mountains.
Yeah.
I'm a people person. I love connecting with people, so it's kind of a blend of that. And at some point, it'll be my full-time gig, but for now, I just do 30 days because I'm thankfully like still sponsored. Like Arc'teryx is my main sponsor, and I work with Solomon,
Yeah.
uh, Gore-Tex. They're just kind of a couple little things on the side that make it all somehow they all support me and let me keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Sweet, man.
Yeah,
And then I mean, I saw the stuff you went to Pakistan with a bad
yeah,
feeling, and you can tell our audience what happened there.
yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, so that was right after. So I just passed my full ski exam, so certified that I know my shit. Can I use that word on this podcast?
Sure, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just passed my full ski guide exam. I was certified mountain guy. I know my skills. And then I did this thing called March Madness right before that, where I tried to well, I tried to do 100 vertical kilometers, 330,000 feet that month. So I averaged 11,000 feet a day for the month of March, and it was all different. It was every day was different. I couldn't repeat the same day as the day before, and it was like I'm really fit, I'm really certified, and I'm confident. So huge false confidence at the time. Um, which is a bad thing. And then I traveled to Pakistan with a group of people that didn't know me. I didn't have those antidotes to my enthusiasm that I'd used forever. Different partners, they just weren't
Mm.
there. They were like, "Oh, you're Greg Hill, you know what you're doing," and there was no real questioning me. And then it was a film trip, so we were acclimatizing. We had a big plan to ski some 6,500-meter mountain in the background, but it was like we were just starting to ski, and we climbed some new mountain that had never been summited, and then I was like, oh, if I ski that line over there, it'll look really good for the camera. And so false confidence, Kodak courage. And I went over, and the mountains were quiet. There weren't avalanches anywhere. It felt like the new 20 centimeters that nothing had happened to it. But anyhow, I went over and tried to get that Kodak shot, and a couple turns in, the whole thing collapsed. And I tried to get out of this class 3 avalanche. The thing was massive. I almost made it out of the side, and then I kind of got caught and just tumbled down this gully. And um, while I was tumbling, there was this flash of light, of like pain. I was like, "Oh, something just happened," but struggling to get up and kind of. I'm very calm under stressful situations, and I just kept swimming and trying to remember which way was up and treading snow. And then luckily, I somehow ended up on top of the slide with my face just out as it slowed and turned into solid concrete. Um, and then, yeah, my partners came down and dug me out. And I looked down the slope. And if I had been another like 100, 200 feet down the slope, I would have been buried under 8 meters of snow.
Wow.
You like that blend of metric and imperial there. But but yeah, basically, I was super lucky. It was a crazy 24-hour rescue. We snow caved. I had a shattered tib fib. Um, and basically, I had a lot. Luckily, the team managed to bring up a toboggan that they created out of this barrel, and then the next day they towed me down the mountain. We didn't have any drugs, but I was lucky. Like, it's just pain. There was no real pain except when the bones collided, and
Yeah.
spent about 6 hours tobogganing me down after sleeping in the snow cave, and then luckily this helicopter came in and kind of picked me up and took me away. And
Wow.
yeah, I was calm as ever. I was like just helping the rescue, just being the best thing ever, and really just kind of shelving that whole fear of anything that like of not surviving.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then literally the second the helicopter took off and I knew I was going to survive, I just like broke down crying and just
Yeah.
had like quite a moment because yeah, I didn't have to be calm anymore. I could break down and things would go
Right.
good.
Does that end a trip like that for everyone else too?
I told them to keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just my tomfoolery, and um, they were pretty excited about the ski line, and they ended up skiing it. It was P-Tour, Spriesnix, and it was a really
Okay.
cool line. Really cool line. They skied it, and it looked really good. But yeah, it definitely ended it for me. It was quite a mission.
Yeah.
Um, Took me about 6 days from breaking my leg to get back to Banff to get surgery. I didn't want to get surgery in Pakistan because lots of different reasons.
Yep.
But I was really fortunate. I mean, with best surgeons in Canada, my leg was shattered. It was quite an operation. But then, yeah, that was a bit of a life changer.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did it take you to, does that make that your worst trip ever or?
Yeah, likely. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
And
um,
how long did it take to come back to be skiing again or ski?
yeah. So that was May. Um, I did, I spent a bunch of time on the couch here healing. It was like I said, it was quite shattered. My physio's like, you're never gonna be who you were before. And I was like, but that's how I identify. Like that's who I am. And it took a long time to realize that, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna be that. I'm not gonna be that physically fit anymore, but I'm still gonna be able to do good things and focused on, really rehabbing. And then, yeah, I mean, the next December I skied. It's quite weak. I remember that I was just reminiscing with a buddy yesterday. We skied one of my first backcountry days, and it was fine. It was fine. I was doing well. And then on the ski out, as you know, at Revelstoke Mountain Resort, it's a big, long ski out, and my legs were so messed up that I couldn't even ski down the cat track.
Wow.
I was just so weak and not able to do it, and like just yelling at my legs because they were not working. And yeah, Joe and I were just laughing about that today. I was like, "You were there, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, it was a scene."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it took a while. The biggest thing is the mental confidence because there's nobody to blame but yourself. So essentially, the decisions were yours. So I had to spend a lot of time relearning confidence in my own decisions.
Yeah.
Because I spent years building that up and trusting this and trusting that I knew what I was doing. And yes, some things had been close, but nothing had been like that drastic. And that year was all about like figured out. I was like, there I am, a guide. I'm like, God, I don't even trust these slopes that I used to be not scared of at all. And um, in the end, I ended up getting a bunch of friends together and we went into a remote area, the battle range here to ski some lines that had never been skied. And going in there, I was like, I knew that in a lot of ways, I was like, this is how I'm going to regain my confidence. I'm going to go back out with my buddies. I'm going to work through everything. I'm going to relearn my decision making and relearn some confidence. And really, I had to do it through them because they were the ones that had helped me in the past. And it was like, it was an amazing trip. And it definitely helped me overcome my fears. It was like, if I've got the right team, if I've got the right safety net and we're consciously talking about decisions and making them, then I'm going to be able to do this again.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
and it was a great trip. We skied some new lines and it was an amazing thing. And I definitely came back with a little bit more confidence at the end of that year and was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the mountain monster I used to be, but I'm still gonna be able to get fit, and I've still got the drive to push myself. And yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and I have like since then I've definitely still done lots of things that have never been done. I've still got like I don't have the jam. Like it'd be really fun to be able to like have 48-year-old Greg beside 35-year-old Greg and like see the difference. I don't have that like the speed, but you know, a couple years ago we did Bugs to Rogers Traverse in a record time. It's
Yeah.
like 140 kilometers ski traverse, and we did it in 52 hours. And
Wow.
it was an amazing journey. So like even though I don't have like the standard I used to want, I can still just do new things and push myself and have an amazing moments. And you know, since then the Spearhead Traverse, I did 16 summits in a day there, like something that nobody else has been silly enough to do. And so
Yeah.
I've still can do it. I just know that like if I compare it to my previous version of myself, it's not they're different ball games, but I'm still on the field having a blast and somehow still able to do things that nobody's done before. And I can kind of
Right.
keep pushing it somehow.
Yeah. Amazing. And then
Yeah.
you did the Electric Greg movie too. So, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of often say that the time on my couch was a time of reflection. It's like, what legacy was I leaving behind if I had died in Pakistan?
mhm.
And like, what would my kids have known? Like, how old were they? They're 8 and 9 then. Like, what would my kids have remembered about me? And it was really neat. Like, they would have heard great stories about all these feats and how I like was really motivated and excited about things and like to push your own personal boundaries, sort of thing. And I think that was great. But if you really look at it, you're like, oh, it's cool, but it's like a selfish thing. It's all about you, and that's awesome because life is a singular thing, and we should have the best lives we can. But I really wasn't giving back. So yeah, I started to look at my environmental footprint. My brother Graham is an environment. Well, we've all been environmentalists, but he's been pushing environmentalism for years. And I was like, okay, what can I do? And I realized I was like, okay, well, maybe one of the new things I can do, since I'm not going to be able to do large feats, although I have to, at the time I wasn't sure if I could. It's like let's twist and try to stand on this little soapbox and be environmental and try to start some like sustainable adventure idea because we're the ones that are out there that are getting these incredible moments, and if we're not stewards for Mother Nature, like who is?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's honestly it's a pretty funny thing because it's like there's a few people that are trying to be better, but overall we're still just terrible. Our footprints are massive, and we're still just like hoping that somehow the world's going to recover. And
Yeah.
it's kind of, but like, you know, for me, I've definitely realized that yeah, you can do as much as you can. You know, we're never going to be perfect. You know, progress over perfection. There's so many things like working with Protect Our Winters Canada and like just trying to figure out ways that we can make our footprints smaller. You know,
Yeah.
I sit in this house now, and I've like re-insulated the whole house. I've got solar panels. You know, I've got my little electric car that's powered by BC Hydro, so it's like it's as good energy as it could be. And like there are ways. We just all have to be willing to sacrifice a bit and kind of and just and try all these different ways to be better, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely going against the grain in a place like Revelstoke. I feel like feels like a
Yeah, absolutely.
combustion engine kind of place.
Yeah, and initially my little car, I was like, well, I want to show that like with this little Chevrolet Bolt that if I can live this adventurous ideal life in Revelstoke in this crazy mountain town, then anybody in North America can get an electric car.
Yeah.
And you know, it's definitely changed a ton since 2017 when I got my car. You know, obviously you probably know a lot of people that have electric cars now, and it's definitely changed. But I still think you just hit the nail on the head. It's like in my town, it's like still like the rumble, the diesel, you know, and I love diesel. I love my F-350, but I know that there's better technology. And I actually just now, right before this call, I was driving a Ford Lightning,
Yeah.
um, testing out that truck, because I think in a town like Revelstoke, if I could start adventuring with that thing, then people would be like, oh yeah, that's a truck, you know,
Right.
cool, you know, like 4x4ing around. And like there's a potential to actually do something like prove that there's change. You know, years ago, I worked with Tyga. We made a commercial for their new electric snowmobile.
Yeah.
And I don't see one electric snowmobile in town. I don't even have one. And it's like, it'd be so rad to just start showing that, you know, to see like there's a bunch of different electric snow bikes that are happening out there. And I feel like we're almost there. We just gotta prove to a lot of the next layer of people that it's possible, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Uh,
Last year I went down to California, and I've rented all sorts of different electric cars over the years, but I went through Hertz,
Okay.
like mainstream car rental, and I rented a Tesla Y.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. And I went into the parking lot and I was like, kind of felt special. And I went around the corner and there was like 70 Ys. And it was amazing. So they're being offered. And I did a wicked trip all around California. I spent 2 weeks. The Y goes flat. You can camp in the back. It's
Okay.
amazing. You can
Yeah.
put camp mode on. You can put it at whatever temperature you want all night. It's honestly like the best car to camp in.
Yeah.
But sadly enough, like Hertz was a little bit too early because there's so many people that are still scared that they're not renting them because they don't know how to use them. There's no education on them.
Yeah.
And they know that the demand is almost there, but there's just still people are scared. And it's like I'm trying to unlock that and figure out how we keep educating people because they're great. I mean, that whole trip was amazing. It was cheap. I drove thousands of miles all around the states, like climbed their highest mountain in California and skied or snowboarded it. And like I've just like yeah, it just feels like we're so close, but yet people are still scared. And I kind of have to keep battling that fear, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Change is difficult.
Change is scary for sure.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the thing I've learned over the course of all this environmentalism stuff and is that the only way to influence people is to set the example.
Right. Yeah.
It's the only way. So
Yeah.
if you can set an example and prove that it can be done, then people can grasp onto that, and then you'll change one person, and then they'll change two people, and it'll eventually grow. But it's still like we still have to keep showing that there's a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you say, there's not a lot of dudes that are gonna dump their truck for a little two-door hatchback.
No, no, my F-350, that was quite a move, but like I was confident enough in all my skills that I'm like, I'm still a man. I can still do this. But I do know that like that Ford Lightning is not selling. And you're like, it's because dudes like trucks and they think they need it. And you're like, if I can prove that Ford Lightning's usable and it can open doors with it, it's kind of the next level. It's that next layer of people that are like doubters that we could just like convert them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So do you have new projects you're working on that you can tell us about or?
Well, I've been doing a bunch of things with Cody Townsend, his 50 project. Yeah, I mean, we've tried the Comstock twice here, which is a first ascent of ours from years ago, that it would be really fun to go back like 15 years later and ski it again.
Mhm.
I'm actually going to snowboard it as my dream because last year I transitioned and became a snowboarder just for new challenge and new stuff. I can't remember when I saw you on the lift. Was I skiing?
You were skiing, but you said it was your second day this year or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, I was skiing that day. And yeah, I mean, I just snowboarding has been a great different way to approach mountains and enjoy them, and really fun to see that different perspective and what snowboarders and the way they use mountains. And in the end, it's the same. We're all sliding on snow,
Yeah.
but I've been really enjoying at 48 to pick up something new and learn and evolve. And just like, as idyllic as it sounds to be able to ski 100 days a year, it's like I've been doing it for 25 years and it starts to get a little boring.
Right. Are
Uh,
you split board touring too or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
guide on my split board all the time. I just it's
Yeah.
like it's all I do pretty much. Um, but no, and I've got some other projects. I mean, right now, like yeah, 48 midlife time. I'm kind of working with Arc'teryx to keep them authentic. They're growing massively. They're incredible, but they've always had a core of real authenticity that it's like it's made for the mountains.
Hmm.
And I've been with them for 23 years. They're like been with them the longest out of any athlete, and I'm actually working with the senior leadership to just make sure they keep getting out and enjoying the mountains so that the company can stay core and stay like not just become a fashion brand.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then on the same thing, I've got ulterior motives in making sure that they keep pushing their sustainability and get better and better because those two things come hand in hand. I think these days, if you're an outdoor company, you need to be pushing sustainability because you're the ones that are getting people out there
Yeah.
and staying authentic. So
What are your thoughts about the snow situation this winter? Do you think this is an environmental thing or?
I don't know. All that stuff's really tough to tell. I mean, there's
Yeah.
cycles. I've been here 25 years. I've only got a 25-year window. I'm sure they've been paying attention to snow here for like since the 60s. So we got like a 70 years of charting the snow. And for sure, it's not great. But
Yeah.
if you look at a 300-year cycle, where are we? Is it different? I mean, there's no doubt humans are changing the world. Like, yeah, I don't think you can argue that. I
Hmm.
mean, we got 8 billion people, we're emitting, we're thrashing, we're mining. Like, we're changing things. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yeah, it's sad that things are changing, but we got to figure out to evolve, and we're gonna have to like we're gonna have to evolve with it and try to be better.
Yep. Yep. So I mean, all these things you do, man, they're crazy inspirational. Who are you looking to for inspiration these days? Or who inspires you to, I don't know, be a better person or go on adventures or
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said earlier in the call, I've never really idolized people. I think anybody that's like really just trying to be authentic to who they are is the goal in life, and to try to find happiness. And some of us it's in the mountains, some of us is in the city, but I think it's just, yeah, I think as long as we just are all like in tune with trying to become the best person we are, the best we can be, then we're pretty good.
yeah.
There's a
Cool.
little Barbie reference for you.
What's that?
It's just a little Barbie reference there.
Oh, shoot, I missed it. Um, uh, and
Yeah,
then
I don't know. It's interesting. Like I've never been somebody to really prop people up and idolize them, but I just think any of us that are trying to push the world to be a better place, like we need that. You know, politics are scary. Everything's so wild now, but if we can all just push at being better people and better to each other, I think we'll come out in a
yeah,
good place. You know?
yeah. And then I think on the lift you mentioned something about doing a zero carbon footprint ski guiding or ski trips.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, I've educated myself over the years. I've taken a bunch of different courses on how to be more sustainable, and I just kind of like to spread that knowledge. And ideally, anybody that comes on a skin track with me, they're going to learn and try to look at their and ideally look at their lives. And as a guide, yeah, I've been offering these trips. They haven't really done too well yet, but I just want to bring people out, let them test out electric cars, and then try to eat better while we're here, you know, more locally, and then adventure human powered, and just kind of take that whole conversation, look at your carbon footprint, figure out what you can do, and just start taking those little steps, because it's not a few perfect people we need. It's billions of imperfect people, and if we can all just be a little bit better here and there, we're gonna get somewhere.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Well, I think that's about it, man, unless you have anything else you want to chat about.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just that is like let's stop being scared of not being perfect. Like it's like when I started Electric Greg, so many people slam me, and I'm like, I know electric cars aren't perfect. I know there's this. I know the mining's not great. I know the impacts aren't great, but there's so many studies that show that they're better, and that's all we got to do is just be better, and then better and better,
Yeah,
and stop being worried about being perfect, because who's perfect? None of us.
right. Yeah. Awesome, man. Cool. Sounds like a good place to end it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on. Thanks for your time, Greg.
Yeah, if you need anything, just reach out.
Our West Coast MC Feet Banks will probably be back in 2 weeks' time. Thanks to you all for listening. Don't forget to check out the print editions of Mountain Life magazine. You can even get a subscription over at mountainlifemedia.ca. Thanks to Shariah Rules for the voiceovers in the intro, and to Adrian Gendro for the guitar licks. Until next time, 2 wheels, 1 love. Peace.